you just been dying to say. We do, girl, I believe.
My name is Lindsay Lunke. In 2016, I decided to publicly identify myself as a victim of Larry Nassar. Hey you guys, what is up? Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Lindsay, and if you are not new here, thank you so much for coming back. Today's video is going to be episode 2, part 2 of my Survivor series. I, again, have already filmed this one and edited it, and I also uploaded it, but when I uploaded it, for some reason, all of my, footage went away and the sound disappeared. I was trying many different things, couldn't figure out how to get it to work, so I am refilming this. It is Wednesday. I put on my Instagram, I kind of updated you guys on when this video was going to be done since I ran into some technical difficulties. And it is currently 9 o'clock at night. I'm going to try to film this, edit it, and if it is not up by tonight, I will definitely have it up by tomorrow. I leave for DC tomorrow and I'm not coming back to the end of the weekend, so I wanted to make sure that I got this up for you guys. But without further ado, I think we can just get started in this video. If you have not seen episode 2 part 1, I will have that link down below, as well as episode 1 of the series, which is like the introduction, so that way you guys can catch up on what we've been talking about, because these videos are kind of going to be a sequence where I discuss things that I've already talked about. So if you are lost, it will help to watch those previous videos, but I will have those linked down below for you guys, so you don't have to go searching for them. For this video, I'm going to be talking about how I actually went public with my story about sexual assault from Larry Nassar. In episode 2 part 1, I talked more so about reporting my abuse to the police and who I told, how I went about doing it, their reactions when I told them about my abuse. So I wanted to break it into 2 parts because, one, first video is too long, and second, because I think reporting your abuse and going public with your abuse are 2 very different things. So I wanted to give them each their own video. And so this video is going to be all about me sharing my story with everybody, and by that I mean doing a lot of interviews, media, press conferences, meetings, things like that. So between the time where I reported my story to the police and when I actually went public with my story, I was doing a few interviews that were anonymous. So headlines would read, "Current MSU gymnast speaks up about Larry Nassar's abuse," or I would do an interview on TV, my face would be blacked out and my voice would be covered up so you couldn't tell who I was, but I would still be sharing my story. Just very careful of sharing details because it was local news station, so obviously there's people around me who I know that watch the news, and I wanted to be careful of my identity and what I said. That led to a lot of people talking about the issue around me, and they didn't know that the stories were about me. Obviously I did, and I often would walk up into conversations with just friends or teammates that were talking about the story in general, and they would just be talking about, who do you think it is, like who reported it, who did this happen to, and obviously I would just stand there in silence, like I didn't know what to say. I'm not just going to openly say, hey, that was about me. It was very hard to be in that position because hearing people give their opinions about your story when you can't really speak up and say anything because they don't know it's about you is really hard, because there were supportive people, but there were also people who weren't supportive. So not being able to stand up for yourself or correct their false comment or anything like that was really hard, and it's just a tough spot to be in if you've ever been in a conversation where people are talking about you and they don't know that they're talking about you, but you know. So that's pretty much what my life was like for a few weeks till about a month. And one day I received a call from NBC. They reached out to me and they wanted to do an interview with me, but my restriction to that was only if I went public with my story. You know, they were really excited to do the piece on me because I have a very unique story in the sense that I've been through pretty much every single enabler that let Larry Nassar thrive for so long. I went to Twist Stars, I was John Goddard's gymnast, being an MSU athlete and dealing with this college of Michigan State in general and how they treated the situation, being Kathy Clagus' gymnast, just many different aspects. I went down to the ranch and trained with Bella and Marta Caroli, if you follow the USAG side of the story. So I have just seen a lot of different sides to this situation in the case and a lot of different people, and so I do have a lot of information and opinions on it just based on what I know and the people that I met. NBC didn't really want to do like a live segment where I had like a 5-minute mark. I would get asked a couple questions and answer them in 30 seconds. They wanted to sit me down. They did my hair, my makeup. I had 2.5 hours to really share my story. When they were telling me all of this, I was just like very overwhelmed, because that was like going from one, being anonymous and having my face covered, to headlines not saying my name, all of a sudden to being on NBC where they're going to show it on the nightly news and not having my face covered, my name being used, etc. So it was just a very, very big leap, and I only had about 2 days to decide. That in itself was just very overwhelming at the time, because I was still doing like my normal life things. I was still a college athlete. Like I would wake up, I would go to class, I would do rehab, then I would go to practice, then I would go to another class, and then I would go to lift, and then I would go to tutoring. Like my day was nonstop of what a normal student athlete does every single day. But on top of that, I was also trying to figure out this whole case and going public. And it was just a lot to take in at the time. I remember like always being exhausted. I was stressed. I was just, sometimes I felt numb. Like I didn't really know like what to feel. And so sometimes I just didn't. Like it was just a really hard time to be in. And so taking all these things into consideration, I just decided that going public was probably going to be the best option for me. One, because I couldn't deal with people talking about me without them knowing, and me walking up into these conversations and not being able to stand up for myself. And two, I knew that I wasn't the only one. Obviously, Rachel and a couple other girls had already spoken up, but I knew that there were so many more being a Twistars athlete where Larry worked, and I knew that this was not just happening to a select few girls. I knew that it would reach into very high numbers. I did not assume it was going to be into the hundreds, maybe thousands like we know of today, but I did know of a handful of people that this had happened to. Just we didn't know. We had no idea. We thought it was treatment at the time. We didn't know that it was abuse. And so considering the fact that I had gone through so many of the enablers, and part of the reason why people are scared to speak up is because of, one, the abuser, two, the people who knew about it and let it happen, and three, you're just scared of opinions. I was hoping that if I spoke up about all of these enablers and wasn't afraid of opinions and what other people were going to say, that other people would also find the courage to do the same thing. And I'm a firm believer that there's strength in numbers, and I just wanted more and more people to come out about their story. One, because I wanted them to find their voice and realize that their voice has value and it's their truth, and that's so important to know that your voice has worth. And also because just the more people that come out, it's like a snowball effect. The more people that come out, another person wants to come out. Oh, my friend just came out about her story, so I want to speak out about my story. Oh, well, my big sister's friend spoke up about her story, so I want to talk about mine. Like, it's just a really positive thing that comes from it when the more people who speak up and find their voice. So in the end, I'm really, really happy that I decided to go public with my story. I think it's probably one of the best things, if not the best thing I could have done for myself in this situation, just because I find a lot of healing from talking about my story, because I know that each time you do it, you're hoping that somebody who needs to hear what you're saying is actually benefiting from it, and knowing that they aren't alone and that they can relate to somebody, which is basically the entire point of the Survivor Series, to let people know that they aren't alone, and that if they need somebody to talk to, there's plenty of people that go through this. Literally, there's so many people, probably 5 to 10 people in your life that are dealing with something like this, and you don't even know about it because they're too afraid to speak up. Before I went public, I was scared, I was nervous, I was nauseous. Like I said, I had that numb feeling, but afterwards I was so relieved. I was happy. I had a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. I didn't have to deal with walking up into conversations where people were talking about me and I couldn't say anything. I had so many people texting me after that, wanting to share their stories and coming forward. So it was just a very positive thing, and I think it was a really good step in that situation of taking something bad and turning it into a positive. So now I'm going to go into the questions from the Instagram post that I posted a long time ago, where you guys are asking me questions. The first question is how to get over the fear of what others will say. Getting over fear is something that is very hard to do in this topic, because it's not like a fear of flying or being scared of the dark. It's Usually if you're afraid to speak up over something like this, it's because you feel like you're threatened, or you're scared of the abuser, you're scared of the enablers and what they will say. So that is something that it's hard to get over, because you don't know how those people are going to react. You can't, I mean, you can make a guess on how they're going to react, but you don't know for sure. And so I think that's the main reason why people are afraid, which makes it hard because you cannot determine the outcome. For me, the easiest part, or the easiest thing that I thought about when deciding to go public or not, was thinking about all of the people who I knew this happened to and being their voice. So really taking it into the terms of, I wasn't doing it for me, I was doing it for other people. That is something that really helped me, because I'm a people pleaser, and when people are having bad days and they're going through hard times, I really like to try and make it so they aren't, because obviously everybody knows what it's like to go through a bad day and to be going through hard times, and going through those things alone suck. And so if you have somebody there that's willing to help you through it, then that's what matters, and having that friend and that voice of reason. So definitely that is something that helped me get over the fear, was taking it out of context that I was doing it for me and putting it into the context that I was doing it for other people. And this is just one thing I would suggest. I didn't do this, but I know of people that have. If you don't see a therapist, or if you do or not, whatever, talking to a therapist about your best options of coming forward, because some people benefit from going public and some people don't. I would highly, highly recommend at least reporting your abuse, because you deserve to have justice in your situation. Everybody does, no matter what. You deserve to use your voice and hold your abuser and their enablers accountable. I think everybody deserves that. I don't necessarily think going public all over the media is sometimes the best for people, depending on where they're at in their healing process. So if you are someone who is just trying to comprehend and understand your story, I wouldn't really recommend throwing it out into the world until you really understand yourself what's going on. Maybe just sitting down with a therapist, or your best friend, or your boyfriend, or somebody who can be a voice of reason for you, and just kind of help you out with how you want to go about the process, whether it's reporting or going public or anything like that. I think that would really help, so it's not just something that you're battling in your own mind and your own thoughts. And also getting over the fear, just know that the world is changing when it comes to sexual abuse, and there are so many people who are on your side. We have made strides in this whole change that we're trying to make, and obviously we have a long way to go, but we are making changes. And if there are people in your life who don't understand, there is an entire army of sister survivors that are here to help you. And you can reach out to me. If you don't want to talk to me, I can ask other people that may want to talk to you from we have big hearts for this stuff now, because we know how tough it can be, and I believe all of us, we want that change. We want people to know that they can come forward with their story, and they don't have to be afraid because they'll be believed, and they also don't need to be afraid because they aren't alone. So just know that with the Me Too movement going on, we're making changes, and even if you don't see it day by day, it's happening. It really is. So just knowing that there are so many people here that are going to support you through your decision too. The next question is how to get over the fear that they will hurt you, your abuser, to get revenge, or that others won't believe you. This is a little bit more of a serious question. I'm going to get kind of deep into this one, but getting over the fear that they will hurt you, I would just say that when you make your report to the police, or if you're telling your mom or your boyfriend, anybody that you're telling about your abuse, I would just let them know that you feel like you're in danger. Personally, I can't really give my personal advice on this and what I did, because I never felt like Larry was violent. He was never aggressive, so I wasn't really ever afraid of him, more so just afraid of his opinions. But I would just say that whoever you're telling, just let them know that you feel threatened and you don't feel safe, because the more people that know, that's the more people that can help you and back you up. If there's any possible way you can report without your abuser knowing, obviously that would be the route to go. I've had people message me and say, I tried to get so-and-so to stop doing this, but I threw in to the conversation that if he doesn't stop, I'm going to tell the police, and then he got more mad and he got more angry. And so I would just try to stay away from that. I wouldn't ever threaten them and say, if you don't stop, I'm going to tell so-and-so, because that puts them in hyper threat mode, where they feel like because they're threatened, they now have to put up this defense against them, and they're probably just going to be, whatever they're doing is just going to be heightened. I would not take that route at all. I would just, whoever you're reporting to or telling, I would just make sure you let them know that you feel like you're in danger, so that way they can take proper steps to protect you. For the fear that others won't believe you, I have people in my life who I thought were my best friends, and not that they didn't believe me, but they didn't believe in the reasonings of why I was doing what I was doing. I'm sure that they believed that I was abused. I don't really know how you couldn't believe that in this situation for the amount of stories that have come out about it, but they thought I was going public for attention, and it's just not the case at all. It's not even close to the case. I would never ever want to put the details that I've put about my life into the world over a situation like this. If I wanted attention, I have other ways to do that, I guess, but it sucks to find out the people in your life that you thought were going to be there for you and support you, but then they don't believe you. It's really, really hard. It's a heartbreaking feeling, but it really teaches you about your true friends, your true family, who's really going to be there for you and who's not. And growing up in life, that is so important, because you want to be surrounded by people that love you and care for you and want to support you and be there for you, because if you're surrounded by the people who don't really care about you and they don't care about supporting you, they're just bringing negative vibes into your life, and you don't want that. You want the people in your life that are going to be positive, to help you heal from what you're going through. And if you're just around negative people all the time who aren't helping you heal, there's no point in being friends with them. It does suck, because like I said, I had people who in my life that I talked to every single day that I thought I was going to be friends with for a very long time, and I don't talk to them anymore. I don't have any interest to. I mean, like, we'll exchange snaps every now and again, or like I'll like their picture on Instagram, but I don't talk to them like I used to. I don't invest in them as a friend like I used to. It's just people who you thought were really in your life for a good reason and you found out they're not. For the people who don't believe you, shove them to the side. They don't matter, because by sharing your story and coming forward with it, you're going to find the people who may have been through the same thing, and I promise you, you're going to get along with those people a lot more than you do these people who don't understand what you're doing. And anybody who has to make fun of you or not believe you or put you down over your story of sexual abuse to make themselves feel better, I feel sorry for them. They're at a very low point in their life. So just don't worry about those people. If you need someone who is going to believe you no matter what, come talk to me, message me. You know where to find me. I will be there for you. If you don't want to talk to me, I will help you find somebody that you do want to talk to, and it'll be okay. You'll find the people who are supposed to be in your life that are going to be there for you no matter what. If you guys take anything from this video, I really want you guys to know that you do hold the strength and the courage inside of you to tell your story. I know that it may not seem like it, and it seems really scary, and it seems like this big mountain that's in front of you, but you are capable of climbing it and getting to the top and shouting at the top of your lungs your story and getting your justice from it. Even if it's way, way, way deep down inside of you, there is strength and there is courage, and you will find it. And there are so many of us, like I said, over and over again, that are here to support you and that will believe you. You don't have to be afraid to speak up, because there are going to be more people that are going to believe you than aren't. And even if there's that one person that doesn't, just try your best to just ignore them and forget them and really focus on the people that are going to be there for you. Never ever forget that your voice is your truth, and it holds value and it holds worth, and you hold so much power in your voice and what you say. It's so important that every single person who's been through abuse of any level, whether it's domestic or emotional or verbal, finds that voice inside of them and says, no, time's up. I'm not doing this anymore. You don't get to treat me like that. I'm worthy, I have value, and your voice holds that. And so if there's any way that you can find that voice and use it, because you're gonna hug yourself so big in these next years coming up when you do it, because you're gonna be a whole new person and you're gonna feel so much better, and there's gonna be weight lifted off of your shoulders like there's no tomorrow. So I just hope that the more that we can talk about this, that every victim of sexual abuse or domestic violence or emotional abuse, physical abuse, anything, I hope they know that when they speak up, their story matters, they'll be believed, and that they're not alone. That is going to be the end of this video. That's about all I have to say on my story of actually going public. I know this video wasn't as exciting as my other ones have been so far, but I did have a lot of people asking me about how I decided to and why I wanted to go public. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure that you guys subscribe to my channel so you can see the next videos to come. The next video coming at you guys is going to be what court was like when Nassar was sentenced, so that's going to be a pretty good video. I got some good questions over that, and I have some good juicy details to talk about. So I just wanted to again say thank you guys so much for watching this video and taking the time. Please make sure you share it with your friends, your family. You never know who could be in need of watching this video and that could use the help and know that somebody's there for them. So again, please subscribe so you can see what's coming next, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.